Hello. I'm going to try to do this video as fast as I can because typical Mexican, I have rice cooking in the kitchen and I put it on low heat. So I have just whatever time I have here till I have to go check on my rice. So bear with me here, okay? So you guys saw the title. I'm here to talk about the new Ed Gein series on Netflix called Monster, the Ed Gein story, okay? This is not the first time that these monster series on Netflix have let down a lot of people, okay? And yeah, I'm looking at you, Menendez Brothers series, because I don't know what the fuck that was, okay? But a lot of people have a lot of complaints about how these series don't make these stories like accurate, like they're not that good, and like I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna be straight honest with you right now. That is not what this video is gonna be. I am not gonna do a comparison to how like legit it was, like how like real everything in the series was compared to like the real life Ed Gein story, because that's not what I'm here to do, okay? I'm not here to educate you guys, okay? I'm just here to spill my opinions, okay? Also, I know that I did take a while to finally release a video like this after my last video where I literally said that I wanted to talk about like horror movies, books, anything gay. And it took me a while to get here because, I mean, to be honest, the whole thing with the movies and the books, I haven't really watched a lot of interesting things that are worth talking about. And as far as the books, I have yet to have finished a lot of the books. So bear with me here, okay? I'm still trying to finish Kill Creek, and I also started reading The Troop. Have not finished either one of those. So, you know, bear with me here, okay? But we will get there, okay? Also, yeah, if you guys saw my last video too, you will be aware of the shitty lighting, okay? As you can tell, I have like 2 different skin tones right now. I kind of like it. Oh, wow. Okay, so yeah, we're here to talk about the Ed Gein series, okay? Now, for starters, I want to go ahead and just address the actor, okay? So, the actor, don't ask me his fucking name because you guys know I'm really bad with names. I know his first name is Charlie. I don't know his last name. I'm really bad with names, believe me, okay? Just trust me when I tell you this. Going forward, when I talk about more books and movies and series and stuff like that, I'm gonna get worse and worse with names. So you are gonna have to bear with me here on this, okay? So, the actor who plays Ed Gein, love him as an actor. Very attractive guy. Love him, right? I did not really like him in this series, okay? And it wasn't so much like his performance, it wasn't anything like that. It was just like the character he was playing, obviously being very crazy, very crazy of a character, because obviously this is a real life person that he's playing. I just wasn't into it. Like, I was not really into this whole character of like him being Ed Gein and all that. Like, I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't know how, like, how close it was to like it being like true to the actual, you know, Ed Gein story. I don't know how well he portrayed Ed Gein because it's not like I knew Ed Gein as a person. So, you know, I don't know as far as that, but I am aware that he is playing this crazy person, and I, for one, was just very uncomfortable with it, and I kind of have trouble getting some type of attachment to like an actor or like a character, specifically if like I just feel so weird about it. Like, I feel very uncomfortable about it, you know? Like, there's just certain actors who play certain roles where you know for a fact like the type of character they're gonna play, you know? And with Charlie's case, I really did not even expect him to be casted as Ed Gein. I was just like, okay, like, interesting. There was already so much controversy when he was casted, so I'm like, okay, interesting. So already there was problems, there was drama, there was a lot of hate. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give him a chance. I'm gonna give this series a chance. And personally, I didn't think the series was bad compared to the Menendez brothers story. I would definitely prefer this one over the Menendez brothers story, believe it or not. I would actually prefer it. And by, prefer and, over and all that stuff, like, I am talking about just the Netflix series, okay? I'm not trying to say that I'm fascinated by a real life true crime case like this, I'm just talking about Netflix and what they put out, okay? I'm talking about Ryan Murphy and his goddamn problematic series that he just continues to bring out. Can we talk about how this was the same guy who worked on a show like Glee and Pose? Like, this was the same guy. Like, that's crazy to me. I can't even believe it. Anyways, yeah, so as far as the character of Ed Gein, like I said, I mean, I don't really know how, like, well he portrayed him, because I don't really know much about Ed Gein as a person. I only know about his case, so I mean, I can't really say, like, you know what, he did a really good job portraying Ed Gein. I think he really, really sold it. Like, he really knew how to play this character, because I don't know how well that was, Personally, like I said, I was very uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable watching this series, and not just because this is a true crime series, or it's based on a real life crime, that, like, you're watching the show and you think to yourself, like, oh my god, like, this actually happened, For the most part, some of that was true. But I was very uncomfortable, really, with just, like, so much. I mean, obviously it's uncomfortable knowing, like, the whole thing with, like, him grave robbing and, like, skinning all these corpses, skinning people, and, like, just making furniture, making masks. At one point you see him wearing a full bodysuit that he completely made out of a human. And obviously that's very uncomfortable. Now, here's where it gets weird, though, because obviously, if you guys don't know, I'm a big horror movie fan. Obviously, that's what I'm here to do on YouTube sometimes. I love movies like The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I love the movie Psycho. I'm a fan of those movies, but that's different, Like, I just find that so different. Like, I don't find that at all the same. Even though, like, you watch this show and it's like, okay, I can see the inspiration to The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, to Psycho. I can see it. It's kind of the same, but to me it's like it doesn't feel the same, because, like, at least with a movie like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, at least with a character like Leatherface, I mean, for the most part, those are fictional characters. They're fictional characters that, yes, they were inspired by a true person, but it's different. Like, I don't know how to really explain it for people who aren't into horror like I am, you know what I mean? Like, I can tell you how obsessed I am with Michael Myers, because I am. You guys know. I love Michael Myers, right? But I could never feel that same way towards someone like Jeffrey Dahmer, Like, it's just different. It's not the same. Like, one's fictional, one's not. Like, it's just, there's a big difference there. And even though, like, I've seen movies like The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where I've seen this serial killer who skins people and wears their face as a mask. I've seen that in these movies. Watching it in this show felt different, because it's like, okay, but this show is really showing you, like, supposedly what really happened to someone out there, And that's where I have a big difference with it, you know what I mean? Like, it's very different for me to, like, see Leatherface doing what he does and Ed Gein doing what he's doing. They're very different for me. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but that's kind of how I feel. Like I said, I'm obsessed with these horror movies. I'm obsessed with characters like Michael Myers, Ghostface, Jason. Like, I love all these characters, and they're just so, like, iconic to me, you know what I mean? But I could never feel that same way towards somebody like Ed Gein, Ted Bundy, Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, those people were real life people who really did horrible things to real life people, whereas these characters, these are just fictional characters that somebody wrote, and it's a big difference, you know what I mean? Like, yes, they both have fandom in their own way, but I'm more, when I say I'm a horror fan, like, I'm a big horror fan, I'm more into, like, these classical things, like slashers, anything paranormal. Like, I'm into these type of things. I don't really have the biggest fascination towards like true crime and all that. I am not myself a big true crime person. I don't know if you guys know that. I don't watch a lot of true crime, um, because although I keep saying, I'm really into horror. I can watch horror movies like for me to go to sleep because I've done it. But I can't watch true crime to be able to go to sleep because this will actually kind of keep me up, worry me. Whereas this is kind of like, this is just like a comfort movie of mine at this point, you know? So they are very different. As far as like everything else though, I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna get into everything. I kind of just wanted to share my own thoughts on like what I wanted to talk about. I did talk about this to my friends when I was at book club the other day, and I was very uncomfortable with the really bad like representation towards trans women. Obviously I was gonna be very much like uncomfortable with it. So a lot of people debate the question like, was Ed Gein actually transgender? And the truth is, and this part I am like, okay, I know this part for a fact. Ed Gein for the most part was not transgender. Yes, in the show it did kind of make him seem like he was trans, and he even had an episode where he was talking to a trans woman that he was so fascinated by, which is another thing, by the way. He was like very much like too fascinated by trans women that he was pretty much like, how do I even describe this? He was very much obsessed and very much turned on by a trans woman, you know. So obviously that kind of made me uncomfortable because I was like, I mean, okay, he's being very like horny towards like, you know, trans women, and the show kind of focuses on mainly one trans woman. And there was an episode towards the end of the series where he does have a conversation with her for the first time, or I don't know if that was really in his head or not, but he had a conversation. It showed us like that he had this conversation with this trans woman, supposedly, and it got really uncomfortable for me because he started talking to her about how, you know, he himself feels trans, and then he did what he did. You know, he would wear women's bodies, women's faces, to put on himself to make himself feel very much like a woman. And that really made me feel a type of way where I was just like, this is really, really bad, like, representation of what being a trans woman feels like. Because although, like, you know, most trans women can tell you, and I can tell you for sure, obviously when I was, you know, pre-transition and when I was first realizing who I myself was very much like, I you know, I wish I could have, you know, I wish I could have big boobs. I wish I could have, you know, the sexiest, curviest body. I wish I could, you know, have very beautiful long hair. But, you know, it's again, it's a big difference, you know, it's a very big difference with what Ed was doing to kind of fulfill those needs, if you will, compared to what real trans women actually go through, you know. And that whole episode made me really uncomfortable because, like, that whole conversation just really just made me feel really, really bad. Because some of what he said made total sense to me, but not all the way. Even in the Texas Chainsaw, like, a lot of people can tell me, like, you know, Leatherface has very much like trans characteristics, like you can kind of see the trans in him, and I'm like, I personally don't. I'm like, I don't really agree with you, and I don't really see what you mean. Like, in a way, I guess I can see how people could think that, because it's like, you know, it's a man who loves to, you know, wear makeup and wear dresses and, like, you know, look very feminine, wear wigs and stuff like that. But it's like, that's also a very big difference though. Like, you know, for starters, again, Leatherface. I'm not gonna bother my baby boy Leatherface because that is just, he's his own character. But like, if you were the type of person that you're like, I want to be a woman, and if your way of doing this is, I'm gonna wear a woman's face on my face to be a woman, no, I'm sorry, but no, that again is just really bad, like, way of showing. And also, like, this show really made it so uncomfortable, like, just being trans and like seeing this and like watching what the show kind of does. And it's like it's making me feel as if like this show's trying to tell me something, of saying like, see, you're the problem, it's like I did not do nothing wrong here, you know what I mean? Like, it is not my fault that there are people out there who have, fetishes, weird fascinations, things that, kinks, whatever, you know what I mean? There's a lot of men out there who like to dress up as women, who don't even identify as women. They just do it as like a kink. They do it for a type of satisfaction. They do it just to get off, you know what I mean? But that's like not at all the same, like that is just not at all, like, I mean, even look at me, for example. When I first started like dressing like this, doing my makeup on camera, I first identified as a femboy. That was an era of mine, but it was different, no, this was not at all any type of good representation towards my community, because again, it just kind of made me feel, I don't know about anyone out there. Let me know whether you are trans or whether you aren't trans, but like, did you kind of feel that as well? Because I know my friend told me that she kind of felt that way with it, because it was really bad. Like, this topic of the trans community in this series kind of made it feel like it's like saying to us, like, you're the problem, and you're gross, it's just so like unnecessary. It's gross, and I hated that so much. And also, I don't know about the rest of you guys, I hated the fact that this show came out and had this type of representation. I know I keep saying that word, but like, had this type of, topic in the show during such a time like this, you know what I mean? Like, we're living in such a time right now where the community is just so like being attacked left and right, you know what I mean? Like, there were so many things going on with the trans community this year. I mean, I know the community is always like, has always been like getting shit on and all that, but it's just like this past year, and like even just like right before it, like it's gotten so much worse for the community. And it's like, then this show comes out and kind of shows this to a lot of people, you know what I mean? Because I guarantee there's a lot of people out there who probably watch this show who are not supporters of the trans community, and very much hate the trans community. And now they're watching this and they're probably thinking, see, I told you, these people are really bad, So I hated this so much. I hated the fact that it did that. I really wish that like I said, that this show did not have to come out during such a time like this, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's honestly, I guess, a plain simple way that I can describe it, at least in my opinion. It felt very disrespectful, at least for me. Like, I very much was not a fan of what it was trying to do, and I'm very much against what it did, but hey, that's just my opinion. You guys can have your opinions. Did you guys like the show? Did you guys actually get a lot of enjoyment out of it? Let me know. What did you guys think about this whole, like, the trans representation in it? Like, what did you guys feel about that? Because I very much felt like uncomfortable with it, but again, that is just my opinion. Anyways, I'm gonna go because I need to go make sure my rice is okay. Okay. So I'm gonna leave you guys now. If you guys would like to see another video kind of like this, if you guys want me to talk about any movies or TV shows, horror books, books in general, doesn't even have to be horror. I mean, not all these books up here are horror. I can tell you that. My horror section is literally right here. This is all my horror books. Everything else is random, you know. So you know, I am very much interested in what you guys have to say and your guys' recommendations. If you guys would like to follow me on social media, I'll go ahead and leave them right here on the screen, so you guys can go ahead and follow me if you guys would like. I did started posting a lot more on TikTok now, so I'm a little more active on there now, so go check me out on TikTok. Okay. And that is it. I'm gonna go finish that rice. All right, bye. It is different. There's a fly in here. God damn it. Ah, shit. That shit flew right in my freaking ear. Damn it. Oh god. Oh, I'm gonna burn this place to the ground.